Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video with me, Sherman. Today guys, we're going to be talking about a new game by Hello Games called Light No Fire. And I want people to understand, when Sean Murray at the Game Awards said this is their most ambitious title, he's not kidding. Like, No Man's Sky is one thing, but this is way more, a more condensed version of No Man's Sky. And let me just explain what this game is. So we're going to scroll down a little bit here on this page. Light No Fire is a game about adventure, building, survival, and exploration together. Set on a fantasy planet the size of Earth, it brings the depth of a role-playing game to the freedom, to the freedom of a survival sandbox. Now, my interpretation of this is it's going to have role-playing game elements, not MMO elements, not Dungeons and Dragons elements, but more like you take on the role of a character in this world, period. Just like you do in No Man's Sky. You take on the role of a traveler, and you meet up with other travelers in that program that the universe of No Man's Sky takes place in. Now, you got to understand Hello Games and their story. And we're going to use their website to kind of explain this. Hello Games has been around since the creation of one game, Joe Danger. Now, Joe Danger is their first game. This is a cell phone title. This isn't on Xbox. It's not on PlayStation. It is on cell phones. Then they made No Man's Sky. Then they made The Last Campfire. No Man's Sky, for a company that's going from making a cell phone game to making an entire procedurally generated universe with procedurally generated ships, procedurally generated planets, procedurally generated creatures, procedurally generated multi-tools, procedurally generated ships, freighters, you name it, to making a game like this called Light No Fire. This is the Steam page, and I have links to the Steam page and the website. So if you guys want to wish list this, you can. Anyone who's interested in this game, after what I'm about to say, because I have a lot to say about this game, this is mind-blowing. First off, this game is a procedural Earth. Now, it is not Earth itself. It is an Earth-type planet. That means it's got breathable air, running water. You know, it's got water. It's got oceans. It's got continents. It's like what we live on, but it's going to be procedurally generated. That means it's going to take hundreds of biomes, possibly. Because if you look at the biomes that we have on Earth, we have, I think there's something like 600 different biomes on Earth. If I remember right, I didn't do the math, but and you think about the size of Earth. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. So Earth is 510 kilometers squared. That means if you were to take a world from Minecraft and make it round, that would be the size of Earth. Because Minecraft is 510 million kilometers squared. The same with Earth. Think about that for a minute. 510 kilometers. 510 million kilometers. Sorry, 510 million kilometers. There's 8 billion people on this planet. How many people do you think are going to log in to play this game? 20, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000? If you look at the player base of No Man's Sky, it never got above like 38,000. So We know everybody who plays No Man's Sky is probably going to play this. So we can estimate 38,000 people. But then you include console players like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, or Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. And if they make it to where it works on all those devices, do you know how big this game, how many players will be playing this game at any given time? No, I don't either. But I'm going to guess it could be anywhere between 100,000 to 250,000 concurrent players. That means people logging in daily, with an average of anywhere between 40 to 50,000 players actively playing at any time. On a planet the size of Earth, do you think you're going to run across 100 people at any given time in the same place? Probably not. Maybe 10 to 15 players might be on the screen, maybe 20 to 30 if you're lucky. But I don't think you'll ever run across more than, say, 10. Okay? But it is a very ambitious game. And that's no lie. This has never been attempted in the history of gaming ever, besides Minecraft. But Minecraft is a flat world. This is a completely round world where you will be able to run from point A to point A. Now, you notice I didn't say point A to point B to point C to point D, blah, blah. I said from point A to point A. That means walking the circumference of the entire planet back to where you started. Yes, you can even do that in No Man's Sky. People have done it many times. So, really crazy that this game is going to be like that. Now, I'm going to play through the trailer so you can see. But before I do, I want to show you these pictures down here because this is going to give you a little bit of highlight in what this world represents. Now, this is a fantasy game. Okay? In human history, there's lore and stuff throughout it that talks about, and I say lore because it's myth or fable, and in it, there is mention of certain races, certain creatures, if you will. Rabbits, dogs, cats, bears, gazelles, deer, all that stuff. Yeah, everything's represented in a humanoid race in this game, including a most notable race that we don't hear a lot about, but we do, elves. This is an elf. This is a rabbit person. This is a human or humanoid. It could possibly be an elf, but telling from the difference between the two sizes here, I would say, and the fact that they're standing a little bit more forward, they're probably close in height. So I could probably say this is an elf and this is a human. And this is a person that is of the gazelle race. Moving on, in this next picture here, you can notice a few more races. This is a cat person. You actually see this race standing near a fire in the trailer, and I'll point that out. Over here, we have a bear person. We have a deer person here. We have a deer person here. We have a pig person here, which I will point out in the trailer later. And we have a ram person. Now, if you haven't noticed, I've named off the rabbit, the bear, the gazelle, the elf, the human, the cat people, the deer people. That's 7 so far. And then when you add the ram people, that's 8. So there's 8 so far that we know of that are playable. Now we're going to move on over to this next picture where it's a scene that's in the trailer but not in the trailer because this guy here isn't in the trailer. This is a pig man standing up on top of this wall. This is a bear guy in the trailer. This is a badger guy. That's number 9 in the races, by the way, that are categorized. All right, Now let's go watch that trailer, because this is completely crazy. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to zoom the screen out, and I'm also going to change the speed to 0.5 from this point forward. So here you can see we have this like deer person on some kind of gazelle mount. Over here we have some skeletons. Somebody said this looked like it was people playing these. Yes, it could be, but at the same time, this is a tech demo, and in a tech demo, a lot of times they will have people controlling a lot of the NPCs. So this could be actual people controlling these skeletons. And that's something a lot of people need to remember, is this could be this is a tech demo. This is showing off what the game can be like. And let me emphasize, can be like. Doesn't mean it will be like. It can be like this. So, but you can see down here we got some like gas, like some environmental hazard stuff. Back here we got these like ancient ruins, which having skeletons around ancient ruins sounds typical fantasy to me, and I love it. And I love this environment here. I love how they incorporate some of the stuff from No Man's Sky's planetary creations. Let's move on. Now we're going to stop here, because a lot of people are misrepresenting what this is on this bear guy's back. This is a sword. Not a hammer, not an axe. This is an ice sword. Later on in the trailer, you'll see a fire sword. So really cool that they have elemental-based weapons. And they do have stabs in the game. They do have bows. They have torches. They have axes. And they have swords. So that's really cool. I really also want to point this out. This looks a lot like the Anomaly. A lot of people brought this up. Oh, it looks like the Anomaly. It looks like the Death Star. It looks like a bunch of different stuff. It could be a representation of that. It could just be some ancient ruin that we get to explore. So let's leave it at that. Right here is an Otterman. That's number 10 race. Remember I said there was 11 that are represented in this. So that's number 10. The bear, otter, gazelle person, and the deer person. Here we are in a water scene, which No Man's Sky does water better than any game. Like the way it looks when you're underwater. Not that it does underwater gaming better than anyone. I would say Assassin's Creed Odyssey does some really good underwater stuff. I would say Guild Wars 2 does really good underwater stuff. But this, like No Man's Sky, and this is going to be amazing. Because it's already amazing in No Man's Sky. But look, we have a sunken ship. We have an Otterman. We have an octopus. If you watch, the octopus will start moving. You can see its tentacles. Really awesome. You have a couple humans swimming here. You have some fish. You have the coral reefs. Amazing scene for this tech demo. Moving on, I want to point out the final race that's in the video. The Frogman. If you try to catch this race in action, you can see the bulbous eyes. You can see the mouth. You can see how it has like different colors because of the lighting. But here's where you really see that it is more of like a frog person. So 11 playable races that we know of so far. And then we're going to let this just kind of play ahead. And when he said not video game mountains, but mountains, he was not lying. Like, that's one of the biggest mountains I've ever seen in a video game. Magic staff. That's what everyone's calling it. No, it's just a staff for now, guys. We haven't seen what these staffs can do, but there is a staff weapon in the game, and there is a wizard hat. That is awesome. I love this scene. And yes, this cube is very reminiscent of some of the cubes in Can you guess it? No Man's Sky. But this one has some definite differences. There is hang gliding in the game, which also is awesome. That we have hang gliding, very, as people say, Zelda style. Zelda didn't start the hang glider stuff, guys. Neither did Fortnite. It started before that. It started with a little game that came out a long time ago and then never released, and nobody heard anything about it, and then they finally released it on Steam. It's a pixel game. I don't remember the Pixel World, or it was like a Zelda game in 3D, pixelated and everything. It was crazy. It was a really cool game, though, and it had hang gliders. Going back to this scene, because I want people to see this. This is so cool. Right here. This is such a cool scene. You got the rabbit climbing up onto the back of a sparrow, not a raven. If this was a raven, it would be up here. This is a sparrow. Okay? Sparrow. But really cool scene. Love the lighting and the rainfall. I love how the rabbit climbs onto the back of the bird. That is so cool. This human walking like they're, and you can see if they look like they're wet or damp, or another word that some people don't like, so I won't use it. Again, great, great environmental capture here with this tech demo. As you can see, they got some house building, but wait, did we miss something? We did. We missed something back here. Right there. Little creature with horns. Kind of looks like a lizard, but it has like hair down its back. If you watch it, it runs through the field. Really cool thing there. Then we got the bear man. We got a person chopping a tree. Over here in this house, we have a bunny man. I don't know if this is the pig man because they never show him from the side. Oh, no, they do. That is a pig man. They do show him. Cool. Yep, you can really see the definition of the pig head. This is awesome. And then if you look at this sign, it's written in a language that's very reminiscent of a lot of the language writing that was used in No Man's Sky. If you took some of it and combined it, it would really match up. And I think that's really good that they did that they pay homage to their own other game. And then, of course, you get the structure of this house building here. You have the Badger Man carrying that. That's 12. And then you have the house in the back here. But look how tall this mountain is. And yes, you can go to the top. That's what's going to make this game stand out to all other open world games. Love the hummingbird looking mount. And then back here at this, oh my gosh. At this scene, you can see a badger man. This right here, it's hard to tell here, but if you catch it when it first loads the scene, this person does have pointed ears. So I'm guessing this is an elf person. This is another human. Then you can see the ships back here. There's actually 4. There's one right here, one right here, one here, and this makes number 5. The fact that we have the longboats, like the Viking longboats, is really cool. I think this is going to add a huge element to this game. Not only with the fact that we can ride dragons, birds, and sailboats, and also rafts, which we'll see in a little bit. All right, continuing on, we have the scene where they're hunting with bows right here. You can see there's 2 people hunting with bows. You can see some people running down here. And up here, you can see these giant boar. Very classic fantasy RPG there. I also want to talk a little bit about their UI. Up here in this corner is a health bar. It's done like Zelda health hearts, but it's health pips. Down here you have this day night kind of thing here, this sun symbol with like this bar that's going around, and you can tell like this is midday, maybe late afternoon. It's not quite evening going into dark times. And then over here, you'll notice that there is a leaf symbol, which represents they're in a forest type biome. And then you have a temperature gauge here. And then over here, you have the equipped item. Watch what happens when they get on the dragon. Right down here, watch this. That's a torch, by the way. They switch to a bow. Now they're going to take off and fly over this lake. And this is another excellent tech demo capture. You have the ruins, you have the dragons flying. Oh, down here you have rafts in the water. You have some houses back in the background showing the amount of stuff that you can have, in an area, just in an area, which I think is really cool. And the fact that these rafts are kind of abandoned, like, it really adds a kind of some life to the area, which is really cool. And then you get this scene here where there is a that is a cat person, not a dog person, like some people claim. You'll see this later on. You'll see the same kind of character standing near a fire pit. My guess is this is like a female cat person, because it looks like the female characters in this game, some of them are a little bit thinner than male characters, but we don't know how the character creation tools are going to allow us to design our characters. So, really cool. Then you have a deer person. You have that scene where somebody looks like they're flying over the lands of, like, Ireland, like some archipelago of Ireland or biome from Ireland. Then you have this island floating down here, which looks freaking cool as hell, especially if you catch the right angle. Right here, you can see like clouds passing by it or through it. So that's really cool. And I love this little lighthouse thing and the I think there's stalactites. Stalactites pointing down, and I think stalagmites pointing up. I think. But really love this scene right here. You can see more flying. Let us back this up just a little. Bam. Catman. You can even see the cat face with the nose and the side puffer like bits. Like a cat, you can see the cat ears. You don't see a tail, and I noticed that with a lot of when they show a lot of the feline race in this, they don't show that. But also look at the hands. Really well done on the hands and how they're warming them at the fire. And then also look, this is nighttime. So there is a day and night cycle in the game, and looks like it's not too late into the night so far. But you can also tell this guy is really warm because he's carrying a torch which lets off heat. So really interesting. They have that hot cold cycle there, and you can see it says they're in some kind of plains or grassland biome. And then, of course, it shows him having a torch. You can see another staff here being wielded on somebody's back. And he's wielding an axe. And then you get to this scene right up here. That is another either frogman or something, because I can't really discern. And I have tried blowing this up and zooming in, like with a screenshot. But it's really hard because it seems like, not that the frames drop here, but that he's like at such an angle it just blurs in. And then you have another fox person or canine person. This is a canine person or dog man. That's 13, by the way. In this scene, watch this deer person's ears. They flop. It's so cool, like that they can capture that. Then you have this person over here on this mount. You have this deer person. You have this pig person. Up here's a bear person. This is that ram guy that we saw in the picture. Love that scene. Now, this is really cool. We have a badger We have the otter, we have the rabbit, and we have a human. And if you notice, this guy's carrying an axe. This one's carrying a bow. This one's carrying some kind of like scimitar or something on their back. It's kind of piecemeal together. I love that it's like that, and I love the fact that this guy's wearing more like leather armor, and this guy has like the leather pauldron here. But I love this sword. The detail on that sword is incredible. And then we have this giant ogre guy. We have these rabbits here. And I want to talk about this scene real quick, because this reminds me of like settlements from No Man's Sky. Like how you would go to a settlement, go and get a settlement, and it'd have like one race that lived there. Like it would either be the Viking, the Korvax, or the Gek. And then occasionally you would see like a traveler amongst them, or you would see like uh, possibly another race land there or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But look at this big giant, like, I don't know what it is, demi-human, and I say demi-human because it's a humanoid, but they have horns and they're giant size. So I'm not sure what it is, but it does look very ogre-esque. And I love how he kind of he's like, oh, they've returned. And then we have another deer person riding on a dragon, and you can see his ears don't really flop. So I'm wondering if there isn't different deer people. But we do need to get a good look at that structure in the background. Because if you notice at the beginning, when you have the deer guy sitting on the horse, like the gazelle horse thing, you can see that stone obelisk that looks like a bunch of puzzle lines kind of like overlaying each other, very similar to this. And I love how it kind of represents that procedural, put together planet Earth. Like an Earth type planet that's been put together procedurally. I love how it captures that, because it is a play on No Man's Sky, and it is a play on the fact that this game is being made on procedural generation. I love that it does that. And I love how it's missing stuff too, like squares. So, really cool. And then, of course, we get to this next scene, which is the inside of this sphere that looks like the Atlas stone. That's it, the Atlas that's inside of this triangular ship. And this thing has like a diamond piece coming off the bottom. Very, very much playing off that thing. Now, my guess is, and this is just my theory here, is I don't think this is a prequel nor a sequel to No Man's Sky. I think this is a reboot of that storyline. And what I mean by a reboot is, because of the way the Atlas program works, it created the universe, created the races, destroyed them, created the Sentinels, all this stuff to police the universe. And I think that what that was showing was that it's a creation engine, that it created this world, and that this is not its birth, but this is like it coming to its resting place in the reboot of the universe, starting with one planet before it expands outwards to recreate what it did with No Man's Sky. And I do think that, and I do think this is possible and this is feasible, but I think this is to play into No Man's Sky later. Not the story, but the concept of procedural generated planets on an actual procedural level, and bringing that into No Man's Sky. And then you'll be able to go to planets, Earth-like planets with multiple biomes. I think this is where they're going to test that. Because if they can build it here, it wouldn't be impossible for them to put it in there. It would just take technology for them to do that. It's just like when people say, I wonder if they can upgrade their graphics engine. Dude, they've upgraded the graphics on No Man's Sky like 5 times already. No Man's Sky actually has higher system requirements than what it had when it started. So, but yeah, super excited for this. I can't wait, to be honest, for this to come out. And I'm going to tell you why I'm excited for this game. This game is going to revolutionize the gaming industry going forward. Because if they can pull this off and prove that somebody can make a entire world in a game with multiple biomes, multiple and massive multiplayer, or even just multiplayer, this will change the way games get made going forward. Just like Minecraft changed how people made games. Because if it wasn't for Minecraft, none of the survival games would exist. Some people say, well, wasn't it Resident Evil that started survival games? No. Wasn't it Final Fantasy or these other games that started it? No. Minecraft started the survival game part of the industry. And that was one guy who originally made Minecraft. This is being made by a team of 12 people. Has been in development for the last 5 years, which is 2 more years, I believe, than what No Man's Sky was when it released. Or where when No Man's Sky released is exactly where this game is in development. So No Man's Sky released 5 years into development. This has been worked on for 5 years. Not only has it been worked on for 5 years, but they've had 10 years from its initial announcement and release to improve upon their technology and their tool set to create No Man's Sky. And then you think about all the stuff they've added to No Man's Sky, from the derelict freighters to the fact that you can have your own giant freighter ship with multiple sub freighters that follow you around to different systems. The fact that you can land on each one. The fact that you have now new space stations, procedurally generated space stations coming into the game, and a new ship that probably procedurally generates multiple versions like all the others. Then you think about this. They're still going to continue working on no Man's Sky going forward. Why would they continue working on No Man's Sky when they're working on this too? And they already said, Sean Murray already said he would like to keep this game going for 10 years too. So, is it possible that they're going to take everything they learned from No Man's Sky, their strengths and weaknesses, their their good stuff and some of possibly their bad choices, and put it into this? Or could they possibly just make all the right choices to put into this and make it work really good? Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, is this game going to be like a role playing game with classes? No. And I already mentioned that in the beginning when I said it's going to be a role playing game where you play a character that plays a role in the world based on your choices. I think this game is going to have a classless system, but you're going to be able to equip any of the tools that are available in the game. So, like a sword and shield, or a sword, an axe, a bow, or a staff. And you'll be able to pick between probably 2 of these, maybe 3. So, you'll be able to have like a sword and shield, a bow on the same character, and like a torch. And then you'll be able to have on another character a sword with like a staff, or a bow and the staff. And it all just varies. Um, And the only reason why I say that, because if they added classes to the game and added role playing elements, that our UI would not look like that. Our UI wouldn't be real simple. There, it would have more stuff to it, like magic capability. We'd have a some kind of representation of how much magic we have and how many like abilities we can use. But they also show in this, in that trailer, they showed a scene where like a guy was using a flaming sword. Then they showed the bear with the ice sword. They showed the staff, and every staff they showed, staff version, only showed a blue crystal. And they actually show the staff 3 times, but at the third time, they don't show it on any person's back. It's actually just in the UI because the person's riding a mount. So, but yeah, I have to say this. I am more excited for this game than any game I have heard about in my entire life. And the only reason why I say that is because this is the first time a virtual world is being created. Now everybody's going to say, but wasn't like Zelda a virtual world? Wasn't, you know, World of Warcraft a virtual world? Wasn't any game with an open world a virtual world? No, it was a virtual space. There's a difference. When I hear these people say, "Oh, we're making the biggest open world survival game ever," no, you're making an open world survival space because you're not doing an entire world. No game has ever created an entire world with multiple biomes. Most games cover a couple biomes, like if you played, say, uh, Ghost Recon Wildlands. It only had like 3 biomes, maybe 4. Had a desert biome, a forest biome, a jungle biome, and then like a mountain biome. That was it. And it didn't even have virtual mountains. It had video game mountains. When you talk about games, like Breakpoint, virtual mountains. Now, I will say the one game that I've ever played that didn't have video game mountains, had virtual mountains, was Just Cause series. And that's because they literally created mountains for that game. I would say Ghost Recon did some pretty good mountains, but I wouldn't say they were real mountains. Like, they were more video game mountains. Assassin's Creed had really good mountains, like video game mountains that were really high and stuff, but it didn't have mountains. Um, I haven't played a lot of games with really good mountains. Besides, well, Minecraft, um, No Man's Sky. Most of the other games I played didn't really have really huge mountains, unless it was on a huge mountain, like Far Cry. So yeah, but I don't want to keep this video going too much longer. I do want to close this out by saying this: if you think No Man's Sky was not a huge game, or wasn't the greatest game ever made, or the best game, or the best concept ever made, you have to understand No Man's Sky was 3 different universes procedurally generated. Where when people say, well, Elite Dangerous is it's the entire Milky Way galaxy. There's a big difference between the Milky Way galaxy and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is an entire universe. Not a galaxy, a universe. Because even scientists say that when our universe was created, there was a central point within a 360-degree in all directions explosion that blasted outward. We're not in a vertical plane here in the universe. We're in a much larger space than people think. And that's why No Man's Sky was vertical, horizontal, and vertical. It wasn't just vertical. Like, you could turn the camera in the map in a 360-degree rotation around the planet you were on, and you could go up or down in the stars. That's because it's got verticality and all that. Yeah. But that enough about that. But yeah, No Man's Sky was a feat never taken before. Was a step in the video game industry that had never been taken before. Just like Minecraft was a step in video game history that had never been done before. And you got to remember, Minecraft is the #1 selling game in the world. There is no game that has sold more copies than Minecraft. None. Not even any game that you think might have done it, like Call of Duty or, Grand Theft Auto or whatever. Like Grand Theft Auto might be the closest game to Minecraft in sales. Everything else, every other game you can think of, hasn't outsold Minecraft. There's some games that even if you added up every survival game ever sold, amongst all the survival games, minus Minecraft, don't even add up to how many Minecraft has sold. And that was a game that was literally made with graphics that were pixelated. 16-bit graphics. That means squares that could only textualize 16 pixels. This is much bigger and on a much larger scale, with edges and roundness and shape. And this is coming out not even 20 years after Minecraft. And the fact that you can play so many different racial options, in my opinion, this game is going to be the next Minecraft type game. This game is going to change the way people make video games going forward. In fact, I can guarantee you Blizzard and every other developer in the world saw this and went, "Oh God, they if they do this, we've got to do it too." And we got to figure out how they did it. And because if we can do that, if they can do it, we can do it with any game we make. The only other game that's done a full-on virtual world was a flight simulator. And it didn't even have moving grass or trees or running, like it had oceans, it had landmass, it had stuff. And that was Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is the only game that has captured the Earth in its full size. But this is this is going to be a living, breathing world where you can walk and see the creatures running around and stuff, unlike Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this is going to be huge. But guys, that's it. I mean, that's what I have to say. This game is going to be huge. And that's not me speaking lightly. That's me being 100% honest. Like every game developer in the going forward is going to be looking back going, "Oh my God, Hello Games, why did you do this to us?" Because this is a feat that no one has ever done. So, to Hello Games, if you're watching this, congratulations. If you actually pull this off, congratulations ahead of time. And for your team, all of you should be proud. Like everybody on your team, whether they worked on No Man's Sky or they're working on this or they worked on The Last Campfire or even if they still work on Joe Danger. Everyone at your office at Hello Games should be proud of this title. because this is going to be mind-blowing when it comes out. But that's it, guys, for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you guys can hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, and I will be doing a lot more videos on this game when more news comes out and when it launches, I will be covering this game from end to end as best I can. And hopefully we get a little bit more news here soon. But keep your eyes open. Also, check the links in the description below. There will be a link to the website and, again, the Steam page. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And who knows, I might see you in a virtual world.